And welcome back to the Market Wolf, where I give you the best bear case, the best bull case, and I give you my opinion. We are looking at the DXY and the S&P 500. If you've been following the last two episodes, you know I have called the market point to point. I told you on the DXY we were going to be in this blue symmetrical triangle and that we were going to drop out back to the poop house down here, and we're probably going to get into possibly the bottom side of this channel, but I did tell you we would definitely take a hard break into it, and that's exactly what we did. As a matter of fact, we made both of the anticipated moves that I suspected we would make. Remember, I told you that we could keep going up on the S&P 500, and some of you are going to be out there saying, well, wait a minute, Market Wolf, wait. You know, I see the S&P 500 is sitting on a bear flag, and I see that the DXY is sitting on a bear flag. They look exactly the same. Well, looks can be deceiving. If you look back where we had this massive drop-off on the DXY at, of course, that's in the way. There we go. At 12:30, and we look over here where this massive drop-off began on the S&P 500, that's 17:30. They do not correlate. I want you to take a look up at the S&P 500 here on this 130-minute candlestick, this massive move up that took place at, 12:30. Over here where the DXY falls and has a massive spill out, 12:30. So you might ask yourself, okay, well, what happened to the S&P 500 that's so bullish because the dollar is failing? Well, yes, it is. But keep in mind the last two episodes, what I have told you is that we are trying to build good structure here. That's what we need to do to continue to move to the upside on the S&P 500. And I told you we might be putting in some moves to come all the way back down to this 402.10. And right now, it's looking like we've got a double top here that's forming. We've got this cup and handle that's failed, and we may well be doing that. Now, will we go all the way down to the 402.10? It's not necessarily guaranteed. Let's take a look and see what we see here. We are on the minute time frame on the S&P 500. Momentum is slowing down to the downside. We're flagging out. RSI is almost completely down on there. Of course, we've had our bearish divergence, but let's take a look at the 2 hour and get a better sense of what could happen. So, yes, it's looking bad. It's looking like we might be headed down potentially to those lower levels and all the way down to 402.10 like I'm talking about. But you got to remember, we topped out at 413.70 today. So, do we get a bounce maybe at the 406.03, somewhere in there, or perhaps the 405.60, somewhere in there, or do we just go all the way down and double tap the 402.10? Well, momentum on the 2 hour to the downside looks to be just now picking up. RSI is really down far. We could flag out and end up chopping around in here. The exiting volume on the 2 hour is increasing. So we're having increasing exiting volume despite the flagging action here. But you can see the exiting is increasing. Momentum is increasing to the downside. So this is not looking great. It looks like it's definitely going to continue, I would say, to at least the 405.63. May even get a wick down there to pick up some more down at 405.40 before it might get a bounce and proceed back up to retest those old levels of 412.14, 412.93 again. And remember, our peak wick was 413.83. So, something to keep an eye on for tomorrow. Those are the moves I would be looking at. I do just want to take a look at the 4 hour quickly. Then we're going to take a look at HBAR. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. And we're going to wrap this up. So, momentum to the downside on the S&P 500. Yeah, it's really picking up again. This is really looking like a small double top to me. And yeah, I'm thinking more and more when I'm looking at this, just the way the setup looks, it almost looks like, okay, well, we're going to go back all the way down now and spend some more time at the 402.10 and chop around there. And as the dollar begins to fail and fall more, as the Federal Reserve continues its supposed non-QE, then we will begin to more than likely work our way back up and possibly in the long-term case try and work our way out of this channel. I have trouble believing, even though I'm seeing this increasing exiting volume, I'm having trouble believing that this is the dead cat bounce that we were waiting for. I almost feel like that the dead cat bounce before the market just falls off a cliff, I just feel like it should be a big, big rip. So that's something we'll keep an eye on. You can see that there's kind of a W reversal pattern here, and we're going to break that at, well, you know what? We've already broken that, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I would expect that move down where I called out. I believe this is a double top. I think you are going to come back down and test the 402.10 and see if you can hold it. And you may end up in that middle of that channel again around the 397.71. Unfortunately, spending some more time there with more sideways action. And this is why the market can continue to move sideways and consolidate even while the dollar is going down. You have to catch those moves on the dollar on the day you want to make the move if you have to. So whatever percentage you're looking at on whatever stock, keep in mind that, yeah, the DXY is the inverse of the S&P 500, but that doesn't mean that they're going to make the same measured move opposite of each other in the same day. If that were the case, the dollar would have kept going up today. But that's simply not what could happen in order to build good structure. And you can see really what's playing out here, in my view, is this is looking like another symmetrical triangle that may be potentially building here as price consolidates on the S&P 500. You can certainly see that. So I'll line up those later, much better, so that we have a perfect idea where we're heading and what this symmetrical triangle really looks like. But we're really tightening up and winding up inside of here. This is going to lead to a massive break up or a massive breakdown. If it's a massive break up eventually on the long-term case, wow, I mean, you could complete a cup all the way up at the roughly 421.27. You could really break up and maybe get to the 435.59. See, and that's what I would expect on a rip off up and then a drop down. What I'm kind of looking for is I want to see a return to very close to all-time highs in the market. Maybe just up to the neckline of the all-time highs, and then it would fail. Maybe at the 451.19. It's something to keep an eye on there. So we'll continue to do that here. Let's take a look at HBAR as we wrap this up. And then we'll take a look at Bitcoin just to see what HBAR might do. We've had that big spill out on HBAR. It looks like this is what I anticipated. I thought it was trying to maybe put in some type of W reversal. We can see that has failed, and now it's just trying to hold essentially oh, wait a second. Yeah, it's just trying to hold there. We're in a totally different. We're measuring this in USD. Wait one moment. There's no way that. Oh, that might be the total. We're looking at cap here. Hold on. Yeah, we're looking at. I think we're looking at the cap. Let's go out and take a look at HBAR. I like the Binance chart with the tether. A little bit more accurate. Okay, So again, you see that we've broken through this W reversal, and so this is probably likely going to continue to the downside. We're riding this. It almost looks as if we're trying to ride this symmetrical triangle down to some degree. This looks like it could be an old channel here. We'll have to chart that out and see. But right now, just looking at this, on the 4 hour, this is the 4 hour chart. We are below the 20-day moving average. We've got this bearish divergence almost finishing up here on the 4 hour. This is not looking good for HBAR. I have a feeling we're going to get rejected off this RSI and continue down. We'll likely see momentum ramp up. We'll probably move into a range of about 6 cents and some change there, the 6.15. You could see a move all the way down, possibly to lows. And really, this is where you want to be buying with smart money. You want to be buying in these lower and larger order blocks. So this is not a terrible buy zone. If we continue downward, if we have a continue with bearish divergence and continue downward, you'd want to start buying at around the 5 cent and some change, 5 and 12. And then also, if it really goes down, 3 and 6. I mean, I'd love to get that 3 cent price. I'd be all over that in a heartbeat. So me personally, I like HBAR, so I'm not really upset if it continues in any kind of bearish move here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin so we can get a better idea of what might be going on. And it's interesting because in some respects here, HBAR just looks so disconnected from Bitcoin. So disconnected, and it's odd because I haven't looked at the XRP chart in a while. I need to go take a look at that later. But I mean, just look at Bitcoin is still flagging here. Of course, it's ridden this fib line down a bit, this fib circle on the 4 hour here. You can see we're starting to maybe have a turn to the downside. RSI is still hot, needs to cool. I would assume we'll have some more chop in here. Perhaps we'll flag to this red fib circle and then get a little bullish again and see if we can come back up. We may need to double tap the 29,194 before we can get bullish enough to go up to 305.47. Of course, if we chop around for a long time up here and it looks like a saw blade, that's bad news, because many times, like we did down here, many times you don't get that move up, but it actually turns into a giant move down. So could this be some kind of massive double top here that's going to form? Possibly, because it looks like we really consolidated here for a long time. I think if we made a move down, I mean, we're holding the 20 down the 4 hour right now. It's not like we're going to make a huge move down, I don't believe, anytime soon. The volume is steady as she goes, still flagging. But I suspect what's going to happen is you're going to have to come down and double tap the 28,492 and then get bullish off of that. That's kind of a long case. And then we'll see if we can get up support on that 305.47. But we've got to put in some work here to make that happen. I do want to check the 2 hour really quick to see if there's any significant changes building to the downside. Anything that would indicate that that might be happening. And no, I'm just seeing flagging. Let me check the 30-minute on that as well. And what I'm looking at there is volume and then momentum. And you can see this momentum to the downside isn't just like huge or anything. Yeah, it's very tame right now, very steady. RSI, we just got steady flagging going on right now. This is really trying to build support. It's really kind of riding this Fibonacci circle that we have here, which is great. It stair-stepped up our Fibonacci circle beautifully. Remember, I went over that last episode. I didn't come back and put this on later. This was put on way back here, and it's following it beautifully. So, incredible move up. We are going to have to, I feel, consolidate and move back down more than likely. And you can see that the Bitcoin hasn't had its move down yet like the S&P 500 did to consolidate, because it will have to consolidate and digest this move the dollar made to the downside. So, this is great with it popping up and retesting the 305.47, and, that's because of the dollar. And it has cooled slightly, but not to the degree that you've really seen on the S&P 500. And again, this has to do with the nuances of the market. So I am the Market Wolf. We will see you next time.